We are live. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar. My name is Alberto Bernal. I am the Consul of Mexico in Leamington, Canada. The Consul of Mexico in Leamington is pleased to host this presentation by the Mexican Ministry of Economy. This event has the valuable support and partnership of the Windsor Essex Economic Development Corporation. Thank you very much for your support and to give the local sensitivity to our webinar. In the panel today, we have top-level participants. Joining us, we have Stephen McKenzie, CEO of the Windsor Essex Economic Development Corporation, Ms. Jacqueline Marquez, representative in Canada of the Mexican Ministry of Economy, and our key speaker, Dr. Luz Maria de la Mora, Vice Minister for Foreign Trade at the Mexican Ministry of Economy. Now, I invite Stephen McKenzie to give us some remarks.
Thank you very much, Alberto. It is my sincere privilege and honor to welcome our keynote speaker today, Dr. Luz Maria de la Mora, the Undersecretary for Foreign Trade for Mexico. This event for planning, it started a number of months ago, but it had been interrupted by COVID, as have so many things. But we persevered. We're using technology, and here we are today. And this is the first in a series of presentations that the Vice Minister will be making. And Vice Minister, you could not have chosen, I think, a better place to begin than here in Windsor, Essex. First of all, we have a wonderful relationship with Consul Bernal and Deputy Consul Noriega and their staff over a number of years. We have our region and our organization have enjoyed long-standing close relationship with Mexico, particularly in agribusiness and advanced manufacturing. We have over 24 companies that are headquartered here in Windsor, Essex, with facilities in Mexico. So great base to build on. And our team attends a number of events in Mexico when travel is permitted, including automotive meetings in Querétaro a couple of times. We also pride ourselves on our ethnic diversity here in Windsor, Essex. Spanish is actually the mother tongue for more than 5,000 of our residents, and 4,000 of our residents were born in Mexico. So there's that cultural relationship as well. We have, and as today, of course, the presentation about increasing opportunities for cooperation and for win-win for our companies and our regions, I can tell you that we are really interested today because we have seen an increased interest in our region by Mexican companies. And I will say 2 weeks ago, we were pleased and proud to announce that Ultramex, one of the leading company globally in engineering and advanced manufacturing systems, has chosen our region to locate their Canadian headquarters. And so without further ado, I want to welcome Vice Minister de la Mora. You're among friends, and we are so excited to hear you and really excited to explore ways to expand this wonderful working relationship, and of course on behalf of our residents and on behalf of our companies together. So with that, I believe I turn it back to the MC, Alberto. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. We appreciate your kind words. Now I give the floor off the screen to Jacqueline Marquez, who will introduce our key speaker.
Thank you so much. I will also appreciate, and I would like to welcome everyone to this webinar. Thank you for joining us today. It's been an honor to be a part of the organization of this event as a representative of the Ministry of Economy of Mexico and Canada. I want to reassure you that this office is trained to strengthen economic relations in Canada and Mexico. Please note that our doors are open for you to benefit from opportunities that CUSMA has to offer. Now, I am pleased to introduce you to Luz Maria de la Mora, She is Vice Minister of Foreign Trade in the Ministry of Economy of Mexico since 2018. She has been head of the Unit of Economic Relation and International Cooperation in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and she also served as a head of the International Trade Negotiation Economy and head of the Office of Mexico Economy Ministry for the European Union in Brussels and Aladi in Montevideo, Uruguay. She served as economic counselor at the Embassy of Mexico in Washington, D.C., and was a part of the negotiating team of NAFTA. She holds a bachelor's degree in international relations from the Colegio de Mexico in Mexico, a master in international political economy from Carleton University in Canada, and a PhD in political science from Yale University in the United States. She has been a Fulbright Scholar Government Canada Award holder. Maria, thank you for being here with us today. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you so much for your very kind introduction. Alberto, thank you for organizing this. Stephen, thank you. Windsor Essex Development Corporation for hosting us today in this webinar. I'm very pleased to be able to be close to you in spite of social distancing, in spite of the situation in which we are right now. So it's fantastic to be able to use technology to be close with friends and also to be able to explore how we can continue to build this friendship and how we can continue to build this partnership. I want to remember that when we first launched NAFTA in the early 1990s, Mexico and Canada had a very close relationship in terms of friendship, political and diplomatic relations. And I think, however, as business partners, as investors, we did not see each other as partners or allies. It was NAFTA that allowed us to discover the potential of a business relationship. So I think that we owe a lot to NAFTA, and today we are living in a new era. July 1st, which is also Canada Day, coincides very nicely with the start of a new economic integration era in North America. And I believe also July 1st marks a date, a very special date for the relaunching of the Canada-Mexico integration relationship within the scope of CUSMA, the Canada-US-Mexico Agreement. So for me, it is a great honor. It is a great privilege to be able to be with you today. Canada holds a very special place in my heart since I was at the time at some point, I had the privilege and the honor of enjoying a grant to study my master's in Canada and in Ottawa at Carleton University. So I had the privilege also of having a Canadian education. So I feel that I have very strong connections with Canada, and I want to make sure that these connections and my own personal and professional experience can help to bridge further in North America. So if you allow me, I want to use a PowerPoint presentation so I can offer you my remarks. And at the end, I will be very happy to have a Q&A session if that's okay with you and if there are any questions, of course. So if you allow me, I'm going to change the screen and I'm going to put the presentation. Okay. Let me see if it works. I hope it does. Okay, so just please let me know if it's moving. The US, Mexico, and Canada have been able to create a competitive North America region. I think that one of the most important legacies of NAFTA is having set the ground and having set the rules for us to be able to create a competitive North America. The Canada-US-Mexico agreement took effect within a very favorable context for North American integration to continue to deepen. And why do I say this? Well, the numbers are very revealing. First of all, we're talking about a region where the three of us together represent a market of close to 500 million consumers. The three of us together make up for the second largest economy worldwide. We represent close to 18.3% of global GDP. As a region, the three of us in 2018, we were the #1 destination for foreign direct investment, which has supported the competitiveness of the region. Also, in terms of international trade, the three of us together represent the second largest exporter worldwide, and the three of us together represent close to 16% of total trade worldwide. Among the three of us, the kind of trade that we have been able to create under NAFTA has resulted in $1.2 trillion in 2019, which represents 20% of the region's total trade. So for Mexico specifically, NAFTA, the trade that Mexico has been able to develop under NAFTA between 1994 and 2019, it shows a great dynamic. Its average annual growth rate is 7.5% between 93 and 2019, where you see a continuous growth in this 26 year, which is a result of not only free trade, but also the free flow of investment. Investment has been an incredible engine to build the regional value chains in North America, where today Mexico is a key component, is a key actor in making North American production effective and competitive. The three of us not only trade together, the three of us are not only investment destinations among each other. The three of us are working to produce together. We are the North American factory. That's what NAFTA was able to create, and that is what CUSMA is going to build on. So let me just tell you also that NAFTA and now CUSMA have made Mexico a privileged and a preferential site for Canadian and for US investment. Mexican Mexico's have received investment from Canada and from the US. The investment that Mexico has received from the US is $277 billion between 1999 and March of 2020, while the investment it has received from Canada is $41 billion. And this investment, as you will see soon, has supported the transformation of Mexico's industrial manufacturing base. This investment, along with a free trade in the region, has boosted the creation of regional value chains. Now, I think that it's also important to bear in mind that Mexico and Canada started seeing each other as business partner, as investment sites, as a result of NAFTA. I can tell you today that Mexico and Canada are key allies. We are friends in many areas. We share, for example, in WTO, a lot of perspectives with respect to how to reform WTO. We participate with Canada in the Ottawa group that Canada leads as a way to put forward proposals to reform the World Trade Organization and the multilateral trading system. Mexico and Canada have common visions, as shown in the conversation that President López Obrador and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau just had on July 6th of this year. In that conversation, they underscored the kind of relationship that we have been able to create under NAFTA, and now how we are going to move that relationship not only through the United States, but bilaterally, how we are going to be able to strengthen our bilateral trade and investment relationship. Mexico and Canada have been able to develop different mechanisms, for example, the Mexico-Canada Partnership, which is in place since 2004, where we, in the Ministry of Economy, chair the subcommittee regarding trade and investment. So we have been able to also create an institutional framework, an institutional mechanism that makes sure that Canada and Mexico continue to be key allies, key partners, and continue to grow together to the benefit of our economies and the benefit of our people. Mexico and Canada have a common goal, which is to build an inclusive and more socially oriented economy. So what we see here is that we are today main trading partners among each other. Canada is today Mexico's fourth largest trading partner, while Mexico is Canada's third largest trading partner. And this is no minor feat. Let me tell you that before NAFTA, before 1994, the level of trade that we had between Mexico and Canada was really minimal. We had a trade of close to $2 billion based on Mexican statistics. And I want to emphasize the Mexican statistics because when we see Mexican statistics and Canadian statistics and we put them together, we see great disparities. And the reason why we see this, we think, is because we have a third actor between us, the US, that sometimes doesn't allow us to have the very real picture of the trade and investment relationship between the two of us. Nonetheless, I want to underscore the fact that before NAFTA, our trade was basically negligible, around $2 billion. And based on our data, last year, trade was more than $24 billion. So that means that trade has grown more than 10 times in this during the life of the NAFTA. The average annual growth rate was 8.7% annually, which was even higher than the average annual growth rate of Mexico's trade with the world. So that tells you a lot about how NAFTA created business between the two of us. And also a very important element in all of this is the fact that Mexico, Canada, and the US produce together. We trade in the same sectors. We trade, our firms in the region carry trade in sectors, for example, the automotive sector, which is key to explaining the North American integration and to explaining the success of NAFTA in terms of trade and investment. The auto sector, the auto parts sector are key in our trade. Also the electronic sector, phones, cell phones. And on the Canadian side, we also are important importers of some mining products, energy products, agricultural products. So we do see a great complementarity in our trade, which is also combined by the fact that Mexico has been chosen by many Canadian companies, like the ones you see in this screen, to become part of their North American operations. Today, what we know is that any company that considers doing business in North America, the US, Mexico, or Canada, always consider Mexico as part of their North American operations, either in the production sector or in the commercialization sector. So for Mexico, Canada today is the third largest source of capital. Canada is the third largest investor in Mexico. And Canada invests in a number of sectors in Mexico. This is a map. It's a very general map, but it covers basically the whole country. Canada's foreign direct investment is located throughout Mexico, as you can see. And this is a result of the fact that there are no restrictions, basically, to foreign capital in Mexico, to Canadian capital in Mexico, except where it is clearly established, except where there are specific provisions that do not allow or that limit the capacity of foreign direct investment to participate. Other than that, there's the foreign direct investment regime in Mexico is open to foreign capital. And the reason why we're open to foreign capital is because foreign capital is an essential component that supports the development and the growth of the Mexican economy. As you can see, Canadian capital in Mexico is operating in the mining sector. 40% of total FDI from Canada in Mexico is in the mining sector, in those states that you see colored in blue. They're also, the Canadian companies are also developing their operations in the energy sector with pipelines, transport and manufacturing in the auto sector, temporary accommodation services, hotel services, hospitality services, also financial sector. The financial sector is very important for us in terms of the investment that Canada is putting in Mexico. There are credit intermediation institutions, banking sectors, stock market, stock exchange, and financial institutions throughout the country, and also generation, transmission, and distribution of electric power. So as you can see, Canada has been able to find investment opportunities and business opportunities throughout Mexico. Now, let me mention the automotive sector in Mexico has also been key in terms of receiving investment. Between 1999 and 2020, the Mexican economy, the Mexican automotive sector has received $77 billion. And Canada has been the fourth largest source of investment with $3 billion and 81 companies in the automotive sector, in the Mexican automotive sector. And unlike other stories that we sometimes hear, Mexico is also an investor in Canada. This is new. This is a new wave. This is a result of Mexico's new multinationals that have been able to find opportunities abroad. And for example, in this case, we know that Mexican investment in Canada is close to $8 billion overall accumulated, and companies like Grupo Bimbo and Eltromex are participating already in the Canadian market. And that is because also Mexico sees Canada as a key ally and a key partner to do business and to grow in the region, but also in the world. Now, I would like to move a little bit to explain from our perspective, what does CUSMA and the new NAFTA mean? And I would also like to explore and spend a little bit of time talking about the new rules of origin for the auto sector, where we see a lot of opportunities in the relationship between Mexico and Canada, but also between Mexico and Ontario and the Windsor area. CUSMA, or the new NAFTA, as we also like to call it, builds upon the NAFTA to the extent that it brings in some of the provisions, some of the disciplines that are already part of NAFTA. Those are the boxes that you see in brown color. Those 24 chapters were already part of NAFTA and were the basis, the foundation to build the North American success story. These provisions, these disciplines were modernized, adjusted, modified to reflect the realities of the 21st century economy. And those disciplines that are in green are those that are new to the agreement and will deepen the integration that we have, but will also improve the quality of the integration. And that is to say that the three of us, Mexico, the US, and Canada, we decided that we wanted to include new policy areas regarding labor policy, environmental policy, anti-corruption policy, competitiveness policy, small and medium-sized enterprises, and the digital economy, so that we can have better and deeper integration. So long term, what we are going to see is we're going to see a different kind of integration, a different kind of North America region with a more inclusive and more responsible scheme that hopefully will bring even more benefits to all of our societies alike. The NAFTA and now CUSMA I think is based on the fact that we can offer certainty to investors, producers, exporters. The CUSMA maintains free trade. It maintains also the free flow of capital in North America, and it preserves North American integration. It is a very comprehensive agreement. It has more than 1,100 pages. It has a lot of new provisions and a lot of new disciplines that obviously each one of us who is interested in different aspects of the agreement will have to explore. But let me take some minutes of this presentation to talk a little bit about the automotive regime of origin. We know that rules of origin are essential to be able to have preferential access in North America. And the new regime of origin that we have for the auto sector is quite complex and it's quite restrictive. However, I also think that the new regime of origin will also help North America to become more attractive for investment. Why do I say this? Well, if we see at the components that the auto industry will have to comply with, then we need to make sure that we can procure from North America and that we can offer the sourcing that the companies will need. The CUSMA includes a new labor value content that was not part of NAFTA. It also considers a regional value content of 75%. It requires parts and components considered core parts to be originating and to comply with a 75% regional value content. And also it requires a 70% North America procurement for steel and aluminum. And starting year 7, this new 70% regional value content will only be considered if steel is melted and poured in the region. So what you see here is that we have the opportunity to build stronger procurement in North America and stronger value chains. To be able to comply with the new regional value content of the core part, the principal parts and the complementary parts that you see here in this screen, to be able to comply with the 75%, the 70%, the 65% regional value content in the next 3 years, we will need to make sure that we can source from North America. So we see here a good investment proposition because companies that invest in the auto sector, in the auto parts sector in North America, will most likely have a market. In the case of heavy trucks, we also have the same story. We have a 70% regional content for principal auto parts and 60% for complementary auto parts. Now, this opens new business opportunities for companies in Mexico and in Canada to develop Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 suppliers. Today, that most of the trade between Mexico and Canada is focused on 4 Canadian provinces: Quebec, Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia. However, Ontario represents basically most of our trade. It represents close to 73% of our trade. So the reason also being is that Ontario hosts most of the automotive trade that we have with Canada. So that explains why Ontario is a key ally, a key trading partner for Mexico. And the new USMCA and the new CUSMA in Canada and the new rules of origin for the auto sector will definitely create those business opportunities between our countries. When we see Canada's top traded products in 2019, we see that motor vehicles are top among imports and exports from Canada. When we see Mexico's top traded products, you can see here also that motor vehicles, parts, accessories, engines are also essential in our import and export platform. So it tells you that the North America trade is a story of intra-industry trade in the auto sector. So I want you to consider Mexico, consider the possibility of increasing our trade in the auto sector, which will obviously have spillover effects into other sectors when considering your business operations. Now, why partner with Mexico? And let me offer you a number of reasons why Mexico continues and will continue to be a key ally, a key partner, and a reliable partner for Canadian companies in Mexico. Today, Mexico is the 7th largest exporter in the world and the first in Latin America. We have been able to build a network of 13 free trade agreements with 50 countries in the world. We also have preferential access in Latin America to 6 markets like Brazil, Argentina, specifically in the automotive sector under the umbrella of the Latin America Integration Association. So from Mexico, a company can have access to a market of 1.3 million customers in preferential conditions, and these markets represent overall 60% of the world's GDP. Mexico also offers a solid infrastructure and logistics network. According to the World Economic Forum, we rank among the top 30% countries with best transportation infrastructure. We have roads that cover basically all the country. We have railway tracks that move 13% of our exports, 117 ports that move 20% of our exports, and we have 76 airports with 64 being international, where we know today, well, not today because of the pandemic, but before the pandemic, we did have some direct flights between Toronto and Mexico City, between Montreal and Mexico City, between Vancouver and Mexico City, so even Calgary and Mexico City. So the connectivity is pretty good between Mexico and Canada. Mexico also has a diverse and innovative industrial platform. More than 2/3 of our exports are located in high complexity sectors, and we rank as the 19th most complex economy, which is something important to bear in mind because the level of complexity tells you a lot about the possibility of attracting new sectors, new investments, of adapting new processes, and of being able to adjust to innovations in a fast manner. We lead in manufacturing production in certain products and sectors. For example, we are the 6th largest world producer of vehicles, and we rank 4 as exporter worldwide of vehicles. We're the 6th largest supplier of aircraft parts to the US, and the 6th largest exporter of information technology products and services. And in this pandemic, Mexico's participation supplying medical devices has been essential. We today are the 8th largest exporter of medical devices. We also are part of the new digital economy. We are participating actively, and we are moving fast in creating access and internet connectivity and broadband access that supports the 4th industrial revolution, the Internet of Things, the digital economy, and most importantly, the free flow of data in the region. Today, Mexico is 3rd in mobile broadband subscription among OECD countries, only after the US and Japan. Today, our mobile penetration rate is 74%, with an annual growth in the last 5 years of 17%. And today, Mexico boasts 92 million mobile broadband subscriptions. Mexico also offers a strategic location and competitive logistics costs. When we see shipping costs from Mexico to the US, Mexico's cost is $9 per square meter compared to $140 per square meter if moving from China to the US. So that tells you also a lot of where are our competitive advantages, and also with respect to maritime destinations from Mexico to New York and LA. We have shorter periods of time, and today, with the pandemic and with the relocation strategies of many companies, this is also key and important. We have more than 50 ports of entry between the US and Mexico. And also we have a competitive and cost-effective manufacturing sector. The natural gas industry in Mexico offers a cost that is below countries in the developed and developing economy. For example, Turkey, Spain, South Korea, France, all offer higher costs in terms of natural gas for industry. And when we look at the Global Manufacturing Cost Competitiveness Index from the Boston Consulting Group, Mexico is at, the index is 86 for Mexico, and the base is the US with 100, while Canada is 101. So what this means, being having an index of 86, means that we are even more competitive than the US in manufacturing, being the US the benchmark. So these are one of the reasons, or one of the few reasons, why you should consider Mexico, in addition to the good weather that we have, the nice food, and the very friendly people that we have here in Mexico. I want to invite you to continue to see Mexico as a business partner, as a business ally, but also I think that now that we have the Canada-US-Mexico agreement in place, we are in a unique position to offer certainty to our companies in a very uncertain time as a result of this COVID-19 pandemic. The relocalization strategy that many companies and many sectors are following right now puts us, Mexico and Canada, in a privileged position to be able to offer the right set of rules to maintain competitive global value chains, while at the same time offering resiliency for these global value chains. So I will leave it here. It's been a pleasure having this opportunity, and I will be very happy to entertain questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Minister. Well, it's a highly informative presentation, and without a question, an eye-opener to the vision and disposition of Mexico to the CUSMA-MEC agreement and its new and better trade environment. Now I invite the audience to send your questions to the Vice Minister, who's using the comments window on the Facebook screen. I apologize in advance if we cannot answer all the questions we receive because of time constraints, but I will bring up as many questions as possible. Well, I have now a question from X1 Mauricio Mex, is which are the benefits for small and medium-sized businesses derived from MEC?
Yes, thank you. That's a very good question. Small and medium-sized companies make the bulk of the productive sector in North America. Mexico, the US, and Canada, we rely on small and medium-sized companies. And we, in CUSMA, we included a chapter specifically to address the needs of small and medium-sized companies. This is a chapter that is based on cooperation. Nonetheless, it puts SMEs at the center of the agenda of integration, because we are interested in making sure that these companies are part of the integration story, are part of the North American market, and are also integrate directly or indirectly in regional value chains. We have set up an agenda, the three of us, to and make sure that we have, on one hand, the way of exchanging information and best practices on how to develop SMEs and how we can make sure that SMEs can participate in regional value chains. Second thing, the three of us have committed to establishing a one-stop shop in internet to make sure that SMEs have access to all the information that they need, guidelines, toolkits, but more importantly, that they can find the business opportunities for Mexico, the US, and Canada to clearly identify where they are. And I want to, at this time, take the opportunity to let you know that in the Office of the Ministry of Economy in Canada, in the Mexican Embassy in Canada, has already established a help desk. It's a contact desk. It's called CUSMA Mexico. I don't know. Later on, offer the website or the right email address where we can receive all of the information. But there's a contact center, a contact desk today for all kinds of needs of consultations that SMEs may have to be able to address their questions. And let me tell you something that is really important and something that we should not forget. The Canada-US-Mexico agreement offers small and medium-sized companies the rules and the guidelines of how to do business in North America. Large companies, large corporations really don't need any help from anybody because they have their own in-house power to be able to move through the waters of trade and investment. But for small and medium-sized companies, having this CUSMA in place is essential because they know what the name of the game is, what the rules are, and how to explore opportunities. And the third point that I would like to let you know is that there are many ways in which trade has been made easier. For example, certification of origin. Today, the certification of origin is self-certification. You don't need to go to any authority. You don't need to go to any public agency, to any government agency to be able to get that certification. It is all very well spelled out in US and in the agreement. And if there are any questions, we'll be very happy to address those. Second thing, the digital opportunities, the digital economy opportunities, e-commerce opens a huge area size companies to expand their businesses from the local community to a regional market. So I want to invite all of you in this seminar to explore how you can expand your business using the digital provisions in the agreement. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have another question. What about the shipping cost from Mexico to any city in Canada?
The what? The shipping?
The shipping cost from Mexico to any city in Canada.
Mm-hmm. You know, I don't have the number with me right now. I will be happy to send it to you. Sorry for the lack of information at this time. However, I can tell you that it is very close or very similar to what we have in terms of the US. This is only a matter of distance, which is not that far away, but we will be happy to share that information. Jackie will send it to you after this presentation.
Thank you. I have a new one. It's in Spanish. I will translate it after I read it. ¿Cómo beneficia el TEMEC a México para levantar la economía en esta pandemia? Can be translated such as how the new treaty, the CUSMA, benefit Mexico to raise the economy in these pandemic times?
Yes. Well, there are many ways in which CUSMA benefits Mexico, but not only Mexico. I think that the three countries. First of all, this pandemic has put a lot of constraints in terms of activity. It has forced us to shut down activities and to also reconsider global value chains. So what CUSMA, first of all, it offers certainty. It tells you exactly what to expect in terms of doing trade in North America, as opposed to what's happening, for example, between China and the US, where we see a tariff escalation, but also as opposed to what we're seeing today with respect to the operations of global value chains, where global value chains have been disrupted as a result of the pandemic. Second, the Canada-US-Mexico agreement brings the opportunity for companies to consider restructuring, decoupling, nearshoring their activities, their productive activities in North America. And CUSMA offers the institutional framework for them to know exactly what rules they will need to abide by. Many companies are considering the nearshoring of their production as a result of the challenges that the pandemic has presented. So we know that today we can offer companies the possibility of relocating to North America and to Mexico, and that will increase investments and that will increase economic activity in the region. And the third way in which we can make this faster is as a result of the new economy provisions that we have. Information technology has proven to be extremely useful and really save many activities in North America. CUSMA contains provisions that directly respond to the new realities of the digital economy. It opens opportunities to develop businesses in the digital space, and it also opens opportunities for doing commerce. For example, CUSMA does not require data servers to be located specifically in the place where the service is going to be offered. So the free flow of data in North America will be essential to develop new opportunities in the digital economy, and that will also help us to recover from this pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you. We have another one. It says that for companies already doing business in Mexico, either exporting goods there or with a physical presence, will there be much change in the way we do business under CUSMA?
No, that is also a very good question. There is a continuity in terms of liberalization of the services sector in CUSMA that builds upon NAFTA. NAFTA was already a very open regime for service providers and for local presence. So what we have today is a very open regime for provision of services and also for investment. Only in those areas in which there are clear restrictions or they're specifically defined, those restrictions where either local presence is required or local presence is not allowed, or there's a maximum percentage of market share or market participation, then we see restrictions. Other than that, there are no restrictions for a Canadian company to establish presence in Mexico. Chapter 14 of investment of CUSMA establishes a framework that provides investors predictable, stable, transparent, and rules-based investment climate. So I can tell you that what we have today is based and it builds upon what we already had in NAFTA. Thank you.
One question we have here is, let's say, close to home here. It's about the car industry. It says, in the auto industry, do you see CUSMA resulting in Mexican OEMs or tier ones deciding to place more work in Canada that they might have previously outsourced to low-cost countries because of CUSMA's increased regional value content requirements?
Mm-hmm. That's also a very good question. And I think that, yes, I think that the new automotive rules of origin, which are quite restrictive, and we will have to comply with them in 3 years. And if there's any company that enjoys an alternative staging regime, it may be 5 years. The new elements require increased levels of North American content and increased regional value contents. So that in itself will require that more investment takes place in North America, takes place in Canada, in the US and Mexico. There's a new component, it's called the labor value content, that requires that 40% of the production process, assembly, parts come from regions that pay salaries that are $16 an hour, 16 US dollars, that is the equivalent of close to 20 Canadian dollars an hour. So we know that those restrictions, those requirements will require, those conditions will require that investment is placed strategically throughout the region. I do think that as a result of this new regime, investment will increase in the three countries, and investment will result in more sourcing from North America in the auto sector, and it will force companies that are established in third regions to establish themselves in North America, in Canada, in the US, and Mexico. The supply chain will need to be originating from the region. So it will definitely promote investment and more jobs in the region. Thank you.
Since we are getting short of time, we have one last question. The foreign investment. What is the most important change in the COSMA for digital trade?
I think that the most, first of all, before we did not have a chapter. So there were no provisions regarding digital trade in North America. I think that the most important thing regarding digital trade is that we agreed, the three of us, to eliminate all kinds of taxes, tariffs, duties, excises, whatever, in any digital product that is traded throughout North America. That will create opportunities to trade in digital products, for example, ebooks, multimedia, software, etc. And at the same time, I think it will create new opportunities for new companies who want to develop their business in the digital space. Thank you.
Okay, we can stretch one last question. Thank you for your patience, Vice Minister. Will COSMA make it easier for my Canadian company to establish a presence in Mexico? Is there any reduction in red tape for companies in the COSMA region?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that question. This is something that is very important. Yes, first of all, we are an open country for foreign investors. Our legal regime allows us for foreign companies to establish without any prior authorization for foreign investment in the manufacturing sector. I also want to let you know that there are two instruments that you will find very useful. One is we just launched a new tool, which is called Data Mexico. I invite you to look into it. Data Mexico offers all sorts of information for investors who want to look into opportunities in Mexico. The second is that at the Ministry of Economy, the Unit of Economic Intelligence and Investment Attraction has put in place a website or a one-stop shop that is called Invest in Mexico. That one-stop shop will help companies in identifying what are the requirements that they need to fulfill in order for their investments to develop and take place. What we are looking into is the reduction of red tape, the reduction of paperwork, and also the reduction of the time they need to spend in order to establish in Mexico. And one additional thing that I think it's important for all of you to know is that COSMA creates a framework for regulatory coherence, but also for regulatory improvement. Any regulations that we develop in Mexico have to be available to the public. They have to be transparent. There has to be opportunity to make comments so that when any company is coming into Mexico, they know exactly what kind of regulations they will need to comply with, and also to reduce the cost of doing business in Mexico. We're looking into a new regime of regulatory improvement because we know that regulations can be the difference, can make the difference in terms of doing business and remaining competitive in Mexico. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. One of the things I have the sense, not from now, but earlier, is about certainty to the new environment of COSMA. I have a question regarding to that, and I think I should squeeze it into the last minute we have. It's very straight. It says the foreign investments are protected with the COSMA.
Yes, they are. They're protected. Chapter 14 provides for the protection of investment for Mexico, Canada, and the US in the region. The three of us have established a set of rules that provide for the kind of protection that investment in North America requires. In addition to that, in addition to the investment protection provisions that we have, I also want to let you know that under the CPTPP, the Comprehensive and Progressive Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, to which Canada and Mexico are part, there is a dispute settlement mechanism, an arbitration mechanism between Mexico and Canada to solve any kind of investor-state dispute settlement. So the reason why the arbitration mechanism is located in CPTPP is because we do not require to have repetitive or a double mechanism, both in CPTPP and in COSMA. Since we already have in CPTPP, and CPTPP covers all activities, then we agreed that any kind of investor-state dispute settlement will be undertaken under CPTPP, and that is already recognized in the Canada-US-Mexico agreement. That is the way in which we know we're offering certainty to Canadian investors in Mexico. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Minister. Thank you very much for all the questions we received. Unfortunately, we are now very short of time. I apologize for the questions that remain in the book, but we will let them, we will transfer them to the Undersecretary in a proper way. Now, thank you so much again. And now I ask Jacqueline to give us our the closing remarks.
Thank you. As the Vice Minister said, you can share your questions related to the CUSMA at economia.gov.mx. Please note that our doors are open for you to benefit from the opportunities CUSMA has to offer. I would like to express my gratitude to Maria for Alberto Bernal and Stephanie for hosting such a wonderful and positive event, and to everyone for being here today. We also hope that this event has been productive and benefit for CUSMA in fostering trade and investment in Mexico and Canada. Merci beaucoup. Bonjour.
Merci.
Merci.
Bientôt. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Steven.
everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Bye.
Bye.
See you in Mexico. Huh?
Yeah.
We wait you here.
Yes, we want you here in person. Thank you, Minister. Bye-bye.
My pleasure. Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone.